Hello everyone and welcome to another match reaction show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. After a couple of years of absence, European Knights have returned to Anfield as Liverpool beat Bologna 2-0 in match day 2 of the Champions League. So let's do a match review and I'll also present my player ratings. This is also a calling show, guys. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, a link is pinned in the live chat. So feel free to join and I'll get callers on after the player ratings. So let's talk about the first half. Liverpool were very aggressive in their play from the opening minute, and Gravenberch almost helped open the score sheet as he makes a fantastic run from deep, hits a low cross into the 6-yard box. Szoboszlai tries to do a flick, but it goes through his legs and it actually goes past Diaz, who was behind him. But Delinga hits the back of the net to haunt Liverpool once again, as you know, he's a former Toulouse player. But thankfully, it was ruled out for offside, and that was a close call for Liverpool. But the Reds opened the scoreline with a goal from McAllister. Great 1-2 between McAllister and Szoboszlai in the build-up. Núñez lays it off to Salah, who hits an exquisite return pass to McAllister, who scores from close range. Great team goal there. Núñez hits the back of the net, but unfortunately, he was ruled out for offside. For me, he should have done better there, as he had a lot of space to make a sideway run to keep onside and then ping forward as soon as that through ball was threaded to him. In terms of the finish, it was a good finish as he was one-on-one with the keeper, but he needs to work on staying onside. Szoboszlai makes a good run into the box moments later. Salah manages to find him in the area. Szoboszlai hits a first-time shot, but unfortunately he slices it wide. For me, if he smashed it with his laces, that probably would have been a goal. So just an area he needs to start working in terms of his finishing. Around the half-hour mark, Bologna certainly made their presence known as they picked up the tempo and played some decent football. In fact, they almost equalised through an Ndoye banger, but his shot hits the crossbar. Ndoye then has another attempt, but this time it hits the outside of the post. Very unlucky from the attacker. Liverpool at that stage looked slightly shaky defensively in the last 15 minutes of the first half, but I was calm and didn't think we'll concede before half-time. In terms of the second half, Bologna certainly applied pressure on Liverpool in the opening 10-15 minutes. Orsolini has a fantastic chance from a set piece where he hits a low shot from the left side of the box. Fantastic save from Alisson to deny the attacker. Around the hour mark, Salah almost gets on the score sheet with a cold effort, but he just misses the target. But then moments later, he can't keep Salah down. He finally gets onto the score sheet, and what a hit from the Egyptian king. And he hit that shot with pure lever. Great finish and great play from Jota and Szoboszlai in the build-up. After that, not a lot of concrete chances. Pretty much Liverpool managing the game in their own sort of way, in their own tempo. And that wraps up the match review. So for me, an overall, a good victory for Liverpool. Now, if you watched my match preview, you would know that I predicted a scoreline of 2-0, and I also predicted this type of game that we witnessed tonight. I didn't think we would steamroll Bologna, as defensively they're very sound, and they actually have some attackers who can cause issues for any team. Today, it was Ndoye and Delinga. Orsolini also had his moments as well. So I'm happy with the win. Not the best of performances and far from it, but in this new format of the Champions League, it's all about getting the points. This is also Arne Slot's 8th win out of 9 games, which is a record for Liverpool, as he's had the best start of any manager in our history, which is a great stat. And that goes to show how much we're improving under his new philosophy and new coaching. And even watching his interviews, he's very honest in terms of the team's performances and says it how it is, which is quite refreshing to hear. So that is my match review. So what we'll do now is we'll move on to the player ratings. So let's share the graphic with you guys. So here is the lineup. Let's start with Alisson in goal. So for me, Alisson actually had a really good game. He was probably involved more than we probably expected him to be, just because of the opposition. Where Bologna, as I mentioned earlier, defensively a really good team, and they do have some good attackers, but I didn't feel like they were going to create as many chances as they did today. And Doi, a player that I highlighted in my match preview, really stood out. Had a couple of shots, hit the woodwork twice, so he was definitely potent in terms of creating chances. The Linger, who scored, hit the back of the net, but obviously he was ruled out for offside. He's a player that we faced last year in the Europa League for Toulouse, so we already knew what he brings to the table, and he always seems to turn up against Liverpool. So, yeah, they did definitely have some players that could cause issue. They didn't have Castro, who's their main striker, and Abisha, who is one of their more attack-minded midfielders, but they still played some decent football, and they had enough chances to actually get onto the score sheet. But I think Alisson Becker definitely played a role where he denied Bologna. They had a few shots on goal. He made some crucial saves, especially that Orsolini one that could have definitely gone in because it was hit with real power. And it was on the near post, but he did fantastically well to make that block. So for me, a great performance from Alisson. He obviously doesn't have the same beard that you can see on the screen, but he's got a bit of stubble now, so he's going back to that stage. In terms of his rating today, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Trent, for me, started the game quite well from an attacking point of view, pinged some really good passes around the pitch. But as the game went on, I feel like he lost a bit of focus, lost a bit of concentration. Defensively, he wasn't very sound, and Doi got the best of him on numerous occasions. So that was a slight concern where maybe he switched off or maybe fatigue kicked in. I'm not quite so sure. So for me, not the best of performances from Trent. So for today, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Konate, I thought it was another solid performance. I know he scored the goal against Wolves over the weekend. I call it the consolation goal because it was a consolation that Wolves had scored in that game. I feel like Konate was at fault for that one. And to be fair, he did respond very well in that game and was probably unlucky in terms of my rating. I gave him quite a low rating in that show. But today, I was really impressed with his performance. Really solid. Made some crucial blocks that could have led to goals. And I feel like due to Trent's defending as well today, he had to cover a lot of ground on our right-hand side. So for me, I think he had a really good performance today. So I'm going to give Konate an 8 out of 10. And Virgil van Dijk was really solid today, really good. Just as good as Konate in terms of a defensive point of view, but he brought more to the table in terms of his passing. Good in terms of aerial challenges, never really gave the ball away. So very, very impressed with our captain. And there's a couple of moments where he had to show his speed a little bit because, Virgil's one of those players where he doesn't need to run around, and that's the aura about him, where he's such a fantastic player that he doesn't need to run around and make these sliding tackles. You never see him on the ground, very rarely. So today there was a moment on our right channel where the Lingard tried to attack us on the left hand side, and he came and closed up shop, made sure he didn't get anywhere past him, and made his presence known that, look, you've got a game on your hand today. You might have scored a disallowed goal, but I'm on your case now. So after that, Delinga was pretty much quiet as a mouse. And then in the second half, there was a moment on the left-hand side where he really showed his speed and made a crucial block to cover Robertson, who I think was playing left-back at the time. So, yeah, all-round game was fantastic today. So for me, I'm going to give Virgil van Dijk an 8.5 out of 10. Robertson, not the best of performances, to be honest with you. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he just returned from a small knock that he picked up against Wolves. Defensively was okay. Set pieces a bit off, not the best of deliveries today. Uh, from an attacking point of view, did present some good phases of play, good interchange and passing with Diaz on that left hand side. So an average performance today, I would say. So for me, I'd give Robertson, I'd give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Now, in terms of the midfield, Gravenberch, yeah, he stood up from the first minute. He was the one that started dribbling with the ball, driving with the ball, and he did that quite a few times today, which was really good to see. But because of that sort of play that he had today, he lost a bit of control in the middle of the park, where I feel like normally he's a bit more calmer around the ball. Today, I feel like he lost the ball quite a few times, was erratic in his challenges, but generally, I thought he was really good in terms of the half turn. He's got that nailed down to the T. I love the way he just does that half turn and gets away from the player. Got really good pace when he dribbles with the ball, glides with the ball when he runs with it. Uh, Solid performance today. Don't get me wrong, I'm nitpicking when I'm assessing his general play here in terms of his passing. Just a few passes I feel like he went a bit astray, but overall I thought he had a good performance today. So in terms of his score, I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10 as well. McAllister, for me, had a good game today, especially in the first half. Really stood out. Very active, roaming around the pitch quite a bit. Good 1-2 with Szoboszlai and obviously to Nunes and then Salah. And then Salah chipped it over. He's not missing those kind of chances, literally 2 yards out. Defensively, I thought he was really good today as well. Really tried his best to intervene and block any passing or shots that came his way. So for me, good all-round performance today. So for McAllister, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. So Szoboszlai, some might, say my rating is a bit slightly high due to my biasness because I rate the player very highly, but I thought he was very good today. I think in terms of his off the ball game, he was pressing like no other person I've seen. Pressing monster, however you want to call it. He was everywhere. He was making slide tackle blocks all over the pitch. And for me, that really set the tone for us, especially in the first half. I feel like we were a lot more better on the ball, more fluid in possession. I feel like in the second half, we kind of lost that a little bit, but I feel like he was really energetic, showed his passion on the pitch. And yeah, I thought overall had a very good game, really solid. In terms of his attacking play, I know he had a couple of chances in the first half. One was literally in the opening minute where he tries to do a flick, but completely miscued and didn't make any contact on the ball. That wasn't an easy chance. It's one of those when it hits, it looks amazing. If it doesn't, it looks quite bad. Then he had another shot later in the first half, which he scuffs it wide a little bit. Maybe should have done better there, but I just feel like he's lacking confidence when it comes to his shooting. In the second half, there was one moment where I feel like he needs to shoot, create half a yard for himself, but decided to play wide as he has been doing in recent weeks. But today, he managed to get himself an assist for that Mohamed Salah goal. So on that ball, I feel like he had a good game. Really stood out for me. So drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. This might be a bit higher. I'm giving a 9 out of 10. I thought 9 out of 10. It's gone for 8 there. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. I feel like he just edges it in front of Gravenberch for me. I feel like he really uses engine very well and was probably the reason why we played at such a good tempo, especially in the first half. So that's my rating for Szoboszlai. Yeah, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Mohamed Salah got a goal, got an assist. So on paper, you're thinking very high rating, but his general play wasn't the best today, in my opinion. Made some good runs on the right-hand side, but what let him down today was his end product, his passing, his through balls. It just was a miss today, and it has been for the last few games. He's just not finding that killer pass that he's so good at producing, and I feel like he's sometimes making the wrong decision with passes, but at the same time, the execution of the passes aren't great. Some of the passes today where it just needed a bit more pace, it just wasn't there today. So overall, I'd say he had a decent game. And let's be honest, without his goal and assist, we might not have won this game at all, because it was very difficult for us to break down this Bologna defense. I feel like he definitely played a part. So I can't give him a very low rating just because of some misplaced passes. So for me, I'm going to give Mohamed Salah an 8 out of 10. Luis Diaz had a decent game. I was quite surprised that he started. I was really hoping to see Gakpo. I thought he would have started in this fixture. In terms of his performance today, definitely, tried to make things happen on the left-hand side. I had a couple of moments where he drived in. There was one moment where, he was cutting in. I'm thinking he's going to shoot, takes another touch. I'm thinking, all right, you're central now. You need to take a shot. Then he takes another touch and he just keeps going away from goal and ends up getting blocked. So his sort of decision making wasn't quite there today. Wasn't in terms of impactful in front of goal, or even providing any in product. So I had a good game in terms of providing a width and trying to cause havoc on the channel. But in terms of end product, I don't think it was quite there today. So for me, he gets a 7.5 out of 10. Up top, Darwin Núñez. Another player that I was surprised to see starting. I understand the logic in terms of why he started, but I personally would prefer to have seen Jota, just because I feel like he's been great in the last couple of games. In terms of end product, didn't really show enough. I don't remember him having too many shots. I know he scored in the first half where he was one-on-one with the keeper, but that run that he was caught offside is bread and butter. He shouldn't be getting caught offside in those positions. It's literally, he's the last man on the shoulder with the defender. He needs to kind of track his run slightly back or move sideways, and as soon as that ball goes, that's when he pings forward. It's a very sort of basic movement you play when you play 11 aside. I used to be a striker back in my days. That's something I would have learned when I was playing as well. So it's not something that is, brand new in the modern game. It is very basic stuff. And I feel like with someone with such great speed on and off the ball, he should be managing those runs much better. So that was quite disappointing for me, because the finish when he was one-on-one was actually really good, really composed, smashed it into the bottom corner. After that, I don't think he did well. Not well. I don't think he did much in terms of in front of goal. But having said that, I think he really worked hard for the team. Alongside Sabozda, I think they were pressing a lot, especially in the first half. So they definitely made their presence felt, and it led to Bologna passing between each other quite a lot in the back, and then it didn't lead to anything that was valid in the middle of the park, because they just couldn't get the ball through to their midfielders. So for me, I'll give him a rating of 6 out of 10. So that is my player ratings. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Let me also bring on the substitutes. We actually made 5 subs, which is nice to see. Sometimes Onslaught doesn't maximize this feature that he has in his cards, but today he used all 5 subs, which is good. So the players that came on today, Jota came on for... Actually, hold on. Before I even mention that, who is the man of the match? Quite obvious to see in terms of the rating. I'm going for Sabozla. I think he really stood out for me. Just nicked it off Groundberg. Groundberg was really good today as well, and Van Dijk. But for me, Sabozla, due to his hard work and graft, I feel I'm just going to give him this. Maybe because he's been getting such negative feedback from fans in the last few days. I feel like today he really showcased what he's about as a player. It's just that he needs to tweak and improve on certain elements of his game in that final third. But for me, from my point of view, I feel like he was our man of the match and it stood out for me, especially in the first half. It was really good. So, yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm sure there'll be a lot of disagreements with that score. Let's bring on Jota. So Jota came in plays for Darwin Núñez. And then we also had Gakpo coming on for Luis Diaz. And then Simicast also came on for Robertson. And then we have Curtis Jones coming on for Szoboszlai. Jones. And then the final substitution was Trent Alexander-Arnold for Conor Bradley. So let me bring him on. There we go. So let's start with Jota. He was the first sub that came on in place for Darwin Núñez. I thought he did decent. Didn't have a lot of impact. Wasn't involved in the build-up play that much, but he did play a part in the second goal. It was his pass to Szoboszlai that led to Szoboszlai hitting that through ball. Salah controlling it, cutting in field, and then smashing into the top corner. So had an involvement in that build-up play. Big question: does he start against Palace or not? For me, I feel like that's probably the reason why he was on the bench today. Armstrong has him in mind to lead us against Palace this weekend as the main striker. So I think that's why he was rested today. So in terms of his score, I'm going to give him 6 out of 10. Carly Gakpo, he did all right. He didn't have too much of an impact when he came on. He had that one moment where I can't remember who passed it, but it was a long ball, diagonal ball towards the left-hand side. And then it had a big bounce. And then he was caught in 2 minds. Should he go forward and header it, or should he wait for the ball to drop and then hit a left-footed volley? Unfortunately, neither happened. And then the ball, I think, got carried away by the keeper. So that was probably the moment I feel like maybe he could have got onto end of something and maybe got onto a score sheet. But other than that, didn't really have much more impact from that moment. So I'm going to give him a rating of 5.5 out of 10. Simicast, yeah, not much to say on Simicast. I remember him making one crucial block, but otherwise, pretty average performance in terms of what he can do with the limited time that he's given. So I'm going to give him an average score of 5 out of 10. And Curtis Jones, I don't remember him having much touches, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know he came on towards the last stage, but I'll be honest, I don't remember him having any involvement, to be fair. So I'm just going to give him an average rating of 5 out of 10 as well. If he did something that really, stunk, then I would have given a lower score, but I don't think anything comes to my mind right now. And for Conor Bradley, same. I think maybe because they didn't play that many minutes, they didn't really have much impact. So I'll give him an average rating of 5 out of 10 as well. So that is my player ratings. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Just going to go through some of the comments right now. Daz, big up Daz as always. Says, big up Ozzy. Who do we play next in the Champions League? So in the Champions League, I believe we play Red Bull Leipzig. Let me just confirm the date with you. Because I know we play Palace this weekend. Then we have an international break, annoyingly, for the next couple of weeks. Then we play Chelsea on the 20th. And the Red Bull Leipzig fixture is on the 23rd. And then we've got Arsenal on the 27th. So that week, yeah, it's a tough run of fixtures, to be fair. And then we've got Brighton back-to-back in the Carabao Cup and then in the league. So, yeah, October is going to be a real test for Liverpool. If we're able to get wins, we'll get a lot of points in this month, puts us in a good position going forward. And it's a big test against Chelsea. On paper, you're probably thinking of all the madness in terms of the players they have and the transfers and all that sort of stuff. They're actually playing some decent football. They're actually gathering a lot of points. They're currently 4th in the table, I believe. So they're definitely gaining momentum. And Arsenal, obviously, one of the title challenges for Man City this season. So we need to make a big deal out of that game, because Arsenal fans are getting a bit cocky for whatever reason. I'm not quite so sure. They were celebrating with the fact that they were challenging Man City last year, and that felt like an achievement for them. We've been challenging Man City for years. So, we've only won one Premier League title, which, yes, was an historic moment, but for me, it's still not good enough that we didn't win more titles under Jurgen Klopp. I feel like he deserved that, and I feel like there were some seasons where we were unstoppable, but City were just far superior than us in those seasons. So let's see. Arsenal, they've definitely deployed a different way of playing, especially against Man City, where they were quite defensive. I'm probably expecting them to play in the same way that they did against City against us when we faced them later this month. So I read something online where someone referred to him as Mikel Pulis because he was playing Tony Pulis type football. So yeah, make it what you will. But yeah, it's going to be interesting playing Chelsea and Arsenal. Hopefully, we can make an impression and get some wins this month. If we get 2 wins out of 2 on that one, yeah, it's a big statement for us, and it lets other teams know that we're here to challenge for the title. I'm not saying we're going to win or anything like that. It's far too early to make those kind of predictions, but we're certainly challenging for the title, in my opinion. So yeah, let's see what happens in the coming weeks. Dallas asks, what's the news on Chiesa? So from what we've been told, it's a muscle injury. So he was not available for his fixture. They haven't ruled him out for the Palace game. In my opinion, due to his track record, I don't think he'll be in contention to be available for the game against Palace, but I do expect him to return to the squad after the international break. So that game will be against Chelsea. So that's the date that I'm marking in my calendar to see Chiesa returning to the squad. I don't expect him to be involved in the Palace game. If he is, he'll be on the bench, but I don't expect him to play, if I'm being honest. So with a muscle injury like that, it's nothing too serious. Arnold made a point that it's nothing too serious, but you just need to manage a player that has that sort of injury record. So it would probably be best to utilize him for that Chelsea game rather than risking for this Palace game, in my opinion. So we have enough players to definitely get the 3 points against Palace this weekend. Just going to go through some of the comments here. So Daz has given me his ratings. We got to Daz 8. I believe that's for Alisson. He's gone for 6.5 for Trent, which is fair enough. I think I went for 7. 8.5 for Ibu. Virgil 10. Yeah, Virgil's really good today. Very impressed. Oh, he's gone down to 9. Nevertheless, still a good score. Robbo 7, which is the same as mine. Groundback 9. I went for 8.5, which is similar. McAllister 8.5. I went for 8. Salah, you've gone for 10, which is fair play. I can't really dispute that. He got a goal and assist, so that's what counts, right? But I kind of drove in a bit, more detail when it comes to the overall game, not just the actual outcome, because I feel like when I watch these matches, when I do my watching, I try to analyze the players in terms of how they are positionally, how they're playing in terms of passing, and making sure that I actually have an impact in the game, not just watching the goals and assists. But that's all good from your side. Double D, big up Double D as always. He says, expecting more from Lucho. I did as well to an extent. I feel like he had the chance to really cause havoc in this game. They really couldn't stop him when he was dribbling on the ball. But I feel like his decision making and his end product was just not there today. So that's what kind of let him down, in my opinion. And then that's his comment saying, after Leipzig, is it Madrid? Let me have a look for you. Let me have a look. So, no, it's not Madrid. It is Bayer Leverkusen. That is match day 4. So that will be taking place on the 4th of November. And then on the 27th of November, match day 5, it will be Liverpool versus Real Madrid. So I know Real Madrid lost to Lille today 1-0. So anything's possible. It's away from home for Real Madrid. So hopefully we can get the win and just get one over Madrid as well. Because, yeah, they've not been our favorite team over the years. It'll be nice to get one over them. So, yeah, one for the calendar there, 27th of November. And that is all the comments. And that is the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, I'll be doing a match preview of Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. It will be taking place on Friday. Time to be confirmed. So best thing to do is hit that notification bell, and you'll be informed what time I have the stream scheduled. And then, yeah, feel free to join me on that. It'll probably be my 10 o'clock slot that I normally do, But yeah, just hit that notification bell. Also follow me on social media for all the latest updates. Follow me at Aussie.ftp on Instagram, and to check out my other video content, you can go to TikTok with the same ID as at Aussie.ftp. Just got a last comment here before we go. Amirali, big up Amirali. He says, Szoboszlai had a much better game than last game. Notice he played more on the left and got an assist. So in the first half, yeah, he definitely shifted more to the left, but I feel like in the second half, he switched over to the right. So I feel like he had a bit more of a free roll and really impactful in terms of his running and tracking back and his pressing. He was the first man from the front pressing, leading the team to make sure that they're closing up the Bologna defense. So for me, I had a very good game today. Emre also said he had a more free roll tonight, drifted both sides and chanced centrally rather than staying on the right side. I'm so glad Slot realizes this. Yeah, I feel like we need to utilize his skill set. You know, he's got a great engine on him, so let him play with a bit more freedom, let him roam around rather than being fixated in one area. Because when he's on the right side, he's covering ground for Trent, or if Salah goes infield and he goes out wide. So it needs to be where he's a bit more of a, what's the word? Has a bit more of a free role where he's roaming around the pitch. And it can also provide an unpredictable tactic for the opposition because they're not quite sure how to pin him down because he's moving from one side to another, or he's very central, or he's further up where he's ahead of the striker. So it's a good way to confuse the opposition. And I feel like in the end product, you might get the most out of Szoboszlai just because having that free roll gives him more opportunities to be a bit more impactful in the final third. He just needs to fine tune that shooting range and hopefully get onto a score sheet a lot more. So I was very impressed with his performance. I thought he did really, really well. Dad says, are you getting FC25 Aussie? Yes, I am. I haven't purchased it yet, but I will be purchasing it this weekend. I'll be playing it a little bit. And now that we have the international break, it's the perfect time, or perfect segue, I should say, for me to say that I'll be doing some FC25 shows next week. So I'll probably do like a Liverpool career mode. So feel free to get involved. The first episode will probably be the more eventful one because I'll be trying to buy players as well. So players that we missed out on, or players that I feel like, or areas I should say that I feel like we should strengthen, I can do it on FC25. So feel free to get involved, drop your suggestions in the live chat as I'm trying to buy players. I might sell a few players that I'm not feeling in our team as well. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot more FC25 streams starting from next week. So yeah, make sure you're tuning in for that. It's got another comment here from Fozzie as well. He said, let's go, bro. You'll never walk alone. Big up, Fozzie. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, that wraps up the show for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Big up to Daz, Double D, Amirali, and Fozzie as well. Big up as always, guys. Yeah, take care, guys. Great win today. Not the best of performances, but hey, it's all about getting 3 points in this new Champions League format. So yeah, we're climbing up the table, and let's see where we end up in the end of this first phase of the Champions League. But until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.